And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at the next 3 Unlock games. Unlock is a series of exit room type board game, or card game actually, specifically. And so I'm just talking about the next 3. Sherlock Holmes, Alice in Wonderland, and video games are the 3 themes of these sets. Now, in the past, these sets have come in small boxes, and then they're sold together, all 3 of them in a big box in Europe. This is what I was sent from Asmodee, or Space Cowboys. I'm not sure if America is moving to the 3-in-1 box or not. Either way, I'm just going to talk about the 3 here. So whether you can get them all together in 3 or buy them separately, let's take a look at these 3 and what I think of them. So here are the contents of the box, as well as the rules. Don't worry, I'm not spoiling anything here. We have 3. This is the easiest one, according to their rankings. Insert Coin, which is a kind of an arcade-themed deck. We have Sherlock Holmes, The Scarlet Thread of Murder, which comes with an extra fold-out sheet. And here's the backs of these cards, some Sherlock Holmian type style. And then we have Alice in Wonderland. This one's called, by the way, Sherlock Holmes, The Scarlet Thread of Murder. And this one's just called In Pursuit of the White Rabbit. So we have some Alice in Wonderland themed cards here, and also a booklet that you will go through. So this is kind of what comes in this set. That's pretty much all I'm going to show you of the game. Let's talk about them. So we're going to go from my least favorite to my favorite here. So we're going to start with Sherlock Holmes. Now the Sherlock Holmes one is fine. I didn't dislike it, although even though it's ranked 2 stars, I found it one of the easier ones to do. But I will say that the Sherlock Holmes one feels the least like an exit room game. It almost feels like a dumbed down, Sherlock Holmes consulting detective type case. You're trying to figure out who committed a murder, which is at the very beginning. This isn't spoiling anything. There's a murder, and you're trying to figure out who committed the murder, and you're looking at clues. And you still do it using the unlock stuff, but there's the fewest puzzles. It's more kind of like a whodunit. And there's almost, again, it's just trying to figure out which person did it and why, which I was able to figure out, and we got stuck a few times for a little bit, but it was by far the easiest one in there. It was decent, it just wasn't fantastic. The other 2 though, then going to the video game one, that one was fantastic. Now, I've been on record here getting a little tired of the 8-bit whatever and the artwork, but in this case it works well because it's nostalgic. It's almost like a Tron situation, right? You start out by finding this video game thing in your attic, and what do you do next? And it definitely takes you through various video game tropes. Yes, it's not Super Mario and Donkey Kong and stuff, but their counterparts are in this game. And it had a lot of clever little puzzles that leaned a little bit into video game lore, but also were fun puzzles. This one's ranked 1 star out of 3, but I really did enjoy it, and it had some clever things that I haven't seen before. I just thought it was a lot of fun. And then we have the Alice in Wonderland, which is at this point my favorite in the entire series, except maybe the pirate one. This one is at least tied with it, possibly better. It's a very strong storyline. It uses the cards in ways, again, that I haven't seen before. Has some fantastic puzzles. Has some really clever moments where you're like, oh yes, that's how that works. Integrates with the app well. Actually, all 3 integrate with the app very well, and you need the app for these. But it was just so much fun. It follows the story of Alice in Wonderland, but knowing the story of Alice in Wonderland doesn't really help you that much, and at the same time, you don't need to know it. So anything, I'm always worried, when you play a game like this, do you need to know outside stuff? You do not need to know anything about Alice in Wonderland to play this, although, it kind of helps. You're like, oh yes, there's the Queen of Hearts, there's whatever, and the craziness that's in there. This one has a very strong storyline. You're following Alice as she goes through, and I like that idea. It is just fantastic. So altogether, this is really great. The Sherlock Holmes one, as I said, that's pretty good. It's my least favorite, I would give that one a 7 out of 10, and then the video game one 8 out of 10, and then the Alice one like 9.5. They're just fantastic, and this is some of the best use of the Unlock series that I've seen so far. I do tend to like the story-driven Unlocks the best, like the Wizard of Oz, the pirate-themed one, and Alice. I tend to like those more than the other ones. And the video game one is also a pretty strong story. But I also thought the puzzles were really neat, and there was some cool things that I haven't seen before. I didn't think any of these were especially hard. I had to use hints for all 3 of them. But I felt that none of them were like extremely difficult, but they felt the right level of difficulty for me. So that's Unlock Heroic Adventures. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent!